XRP lawsuit is officially over. It only took 1,322 days, a very long time, but hey, it is what it is. The question now is what's happening with the price? Well, if we look at the price, it obviously exploded to the upside, but it's right back at resistance. You can see all this resistance here. So essentially what we have here, if we zoom in a little bit, obviously I'm looking at this as some kind of diagonal here. Actually, let's zoom in a lot more. There we go. So far all we have is a three-wave move back to the upside. This can still continue going down, right? So you just have to be mindful of that. The problem with the XRP lawsuit is that Judge Torres, I mean, if she would have did this, 2 weeks ago, it would have transformed a lot. But they did so, when Bitcoin and the whole market is basically down in the dumps. So, I mean, it's still good news nonetheless, but, when you zoom out a little bit, it's just not organic. I mean, it went straight up. I mean, charts don't do that. The price doesn't do that. So I would imagine a lot of time has to process here, right? So for example, if we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had a pullback, and then we had this ABC, and then somewhere right in here where we had this flat, right, instead of this big expanded flat, then we could have, it would have been a lot better. But since we went all the way down and all the way back up, something's not right, okay, structurally in the chart, So for example, like in Bitcoin, when we look at the price of Bitcoin, for example, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this was an A, a B, and a C. And let's say we started pumping up here a little bit. We had a 1, 2, and then we started challenging the highs here, and then that's when the lawsuit ended. Man, that would have really just been that. So it's all about timing and placing when it comes to this, right? I just put a video out earlier, and I didn't even know the lawsuit was over until I was recording halfway through. But definitely go back and watch that video. For Bitcoin, it's really gonna, be on Bitcoin's shoulders here. If for XRP to go into expansion, there's no way, even with the victory with the lawsuit, there's no way XRP can go up without the liquidity of Bitcoin. So, looking at this deal as a fourth wave, right? This is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. So what's the count for Bitcoin? Well, just real quick, either this is a W, X, Y, X, Z, right? And then let's go, we're flagging out, right? Or this is actually wave A, and then we have a complex wave B, and now we're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave C. So A, B, C, so it's a flat. Okay, so that's what we really need to happen, and we need to sort of base out a little bit, and then we need to continue rising to the upside. So actually, if the lawsuit never did anything or wasn't settled and we kind of went sideways here, we started going back up, because remember, I've been saying it's all going to come to a big head. Where exactly? Well, when we look at this old screenshot here, right, you can see Bitcoin's down here. So looking at this fractal, I basically said it's all going to come back to when we have a retracement. So people who sell now are going to be very disappointed, I think. I mean, maybe they might get lucky and this thing continues down, but I would imagine we have a little bit more downside. But ultimately, you see how, we basically had this W, X, Y, X, Z, right? W, X, Y, X, Z, right? We broke, we landed here, almost broke it, we came back up, and then bam, came back up, and then bam. So basically, what we really need to see happen here is for Bitcoin, right, to get back up here. And then we can decide up or down, right? So that's when I would have really liked to seen the lawsuit be settled. Not now, right? I want to see the price stabilize, okay, and stabilize a little bit, go sideways, maybe a diagonal, a three-way pullback, and then basically, continue up here. And then once we get up here, we flag out a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boom, the lawsuit comes out, and that's what sends crypto to the moon. But since it happened down here, it's I'm glad it's over, but man, it's just the timing is horrible. I would guess. So, I still think we got to get back up here, right? And then we can decide. So, XRP, the lawsuit over doesn't mean the price is going to skyrocket. Obviously, it went up big time, about 25%, which is huge, but it's not going to be sustainable. Unless, of course, Bitcoin can basically have this, obviously we're flagging out and then we want to break out, right? Here's your flag, here's your bull flag, and then we break out. So if we had the lawsuit end right here on the breakout, man, that would have been like, because everybody's already bullish, liquidity is running rampant, that would have been like the perfect time. But, maybe the deep state, they timed it in a very bad spot, knowing that, it was going to be short-lived anyway. So, basically, I'm saying don't get trapped, right? If you hold XRP, you hold it, but should you buy right now? Well, let's talk about that. The chart, it doesn't look good right now because of how wonky that looks, But what really, really is the most bullish is actually the 2-week chart. The 2-week chart is very, very bullish. You have this bullish sort of reversal candle, you have this engulfing candle, and then you have this massive bullish hammer candle, right? So with that long tail at the bottom. So we have about 4 days until this candle ends. So I think next week is when we should hopefully see some big price movement. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, I think, let's put Bitcoin on the screen here. Okay, so when you look at Bitcoin and XRP sort of side by side, let's say we have a doji this week, and then, or actually it's 2 weeks. Actually, let me go down to the weekly here. Right, let's say we get up here, we flag out a little bit, and then that means we come up and we start retracing. So I think as Bitcoin is starting to recover in a retracement, maybe it's got a little bit more down to go, but ultimately it's going to come back up and retrace. And when that retraces, maybe that's the moment where XRP could break out. And then as it breaks out, it creates an alt season. And then that's where Bitcoin starts to break out as well. I shouldn't say alt season, but, an alt recovery. And that's when we see Bitcoin break out. Alts kind of settle down a little bit. Then the liquidity flows into Bitcoin. Bitcoin creates the top of the 5th wave. Then it cycles back to the alts. Then we get the big alt season. But during that time, we see a big XRP breakout. That's kind of just a little bit of speculation there on how it could play out. But, this, again, it's not financial advice. I'm just giving you my opinion here. So what I want to see, when we look at, let's look at the monthly chart too. Wow, yeah, look at that. That's a big monthly hammer candle, right? So we had a bullish monthly hammer that was engulfing. It closed. Then this wick came all the way down, and it still retested 50% of that wick. That was huge, right? We closed very, very bullish on the month of July. And then August 1st occurred, and then we just dumped and dumped and dumped and dumped. And then it came all the way down, and like I said, a lot of times when you have a big wick at the bottom, you have the following candle retest 50% of that wick, and that's exactly what happened. It came down, it retested it, and also the bottom of this, and also the bottom of these candles. It said, nope, I am going back to the upside. Look how strong this support is. We broke out. We're testing. We come back up. Couldn't do it. Resistance up here. Come back down. Test. Flag out. Test. Boom. Explodes all the way back up here. And then it comes down one more time to test the bottom. I mean, that's incredible. So that being said, when we look at the monthly chart, I don't see XRP coming back down unless, remember, look how big this wick is. You can see how big this wick is, right? So the following month, right, this might take all of September, and we might not get a breakout until maybe October, right? Unless, you know, things turn around quick. But look at this wick. So similar to how this wick retested 50% of this wick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a trend line and I'm going to go right about 50%. So right about there. That's about 52 cents. So once this month ends, which is still a long ways away, then the second candle, which would be the month of September, then we're going to see potentially a wick come all the way down and retest 50%, right? And then we can see maybe hopefully a little bit of a breakout. And then the following October, we get a bigger breakout. And then November, we're just off to the races. And December as well. So that would be very nice to see. And then I would imagine we would flag out a little bit here around these retracement areas. And I could see a 1, 2, 1, 2 working here. And then that's when we get a huge bull cycle, like probably going into next year, right? Which means, you know, when Trump comes in, we get a bullish administration, you know, it's going to look pretty good. Now, the way I've drawn it, it could happen a lot faster. It could happen even a lot slower. I mean, heck, this could just be a retrace of a retrace, and then we go back into reaccumulation again before going higher, right? Because it's all about what? You have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways breakout. Rise, crash, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. We want to see the breakout, right? So it still looks really, really good. XRP is one of those charts that's too risky not to own because of how unbelievable established Ripple is with, I mean, look at the World Bank, look at the IMF, look at Ripple, all their buddies, all their board members, and look at who their board members hang out with. Okay, they're hanging out with high-level people. And, you know, Ripple, XRP's been in the top 10 since the beginning of time, which means, you know, this thing is, in my opinion, very close to a big breakout here. And another thing as well, and I'm going to get into the small time frames in just a minute and show you what I think, and also theta as well. But again, I'm looking at this as a triangle. Obviously, a lot of people already know this count here, right? But why that count is so important is because when you look at the E wave, we had a pretty much perfect three-way move here. So boom, boom, boom. So we had that three-wave shape, and then we impulsed off. We came down, we back tested the order block, the bottom of it, and now hopefully we can continue higher. So let's zoom in to the 4-hour here. Yeah, we got a big 4-hour engulfing candle. The problem with this is it's too close. I mean, it looks a little bit scammy, right? And especially if the rest of the market isn't performing. I mean, you can see XLM doing something similar, but when you look at something like ADA, I mean, it looks like a disaster. So, I mean, still, right? But I think we're at that very pivotal point, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And, you know, it goes with that 7 wave bottoming theory, and I like it a lot. Coming down, sweeping the lows. So I think from here, like looking at ADA, and this is just a representation of all the altcoins, right? We start to build a base. Maybe we get a Wyckoff. Maybe we get, something in here, that a platform to blast off, right? We come up here. Maybe we make a shoulder, a head, another shoulder, and then eventually we break out come October, November. And then hopefully we can get a big alt season here that takes us way back, up here. Because you see a high, let's get another high. You can see what it's doing, right? It's basically in this big broadening wedge here. So maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get back up here, right? That's what I'm thinking. So, and if that happens, then we can see XRP and a lot of others doing very, very well as well. So, but let's look at the small time frame, the 1 hour chart. Yeah, so far, I mean, really what we have here is this is exactly what I was thinking, which is an A, a B, right? Everybody thought we were breaking out, but I said this is probably a B wave because it looks corrective, and it turned into a flat. So I said it could be a running flat, a regular flat, or an expanded flat. So it came all the way down here. So A, B, C. That's a massive expanding flat. So you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all of that is wave 1. This is wave 2, right? And this is wave 1. This is wave... basically all of this is... and we're in the middle of wave 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And then you want to see it kind of flag out a little bit and then continue higher. I mean, that would be the standard idea, but it's not going to happen if Bitcoin and the rest of the market, right? So what else could it be? Well, it could be more complex, meaning, if you have 3 and then you have 3, you can get another 3, right? So it could be a W, X, Y. It could be another flat, right? Which basically it's a bigger flag. So you're impulsing up and you're flagging down before you break out. So that wouldn't be such a bad idea either. But really, or even more bearish, you have 3, 3, and then you come down in 5, which would basically would be actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you would get 5, and then you would break the low. So I'm not going to go there. I don't think we're that bearish yet. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, when I zoom in even closer, like to the 15-minute chart, you can see, looks like we had one, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I don't really like it at all. I was gonna say maybe some kind of diagonal with a 3-way pullback. Boom, boom, boom. And then we have a 1, 2. And now it looks like this is the third. So 1, 2, 3. And now when we zoom in closer, like watch this. If I go to the 3-minute chart, you could see the definition. Now look at it, right? Now you can see what it did here. That looks like a running flat, guys. This could be very bullish because you have a 1, 2, right? All of this is 3, and then you have an A, right? Everyone thought it was going to break out, but it looked corrective. It's often a B wave trap. So it took the high here, and then it came back down in 3, and now it's building a base. Guys, this could be very bullish, right? So we have an A, B, a C, right? We have a running flat here. Now, if this comes up, takes and breaks up and then comes back down, then we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we would meet up with this level here, and then hopefully A, B, C, then we can go, right? So we want to hold this. Now, if it comes down, it can still be a running flat, a regular flat, or an expanded flat. I like the three-wave shape. It could be potentially a running flat. A running flat is very bullish. So, you know, that's kind of what we're looking at here. But since, you know, it's going to be hard for XRP to break out of here. I know a lot of people are bullish. We won the lawsuit, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, where the market is at, it's not in a good spot. I mean, let's look at total 3 here. We can find it real quick. Okay, well, what I'll do first is look at XRP versus Bitcoin. Now, XRP versus Bitcoin is even more bullish in my opinion, because now we have a full-fledged breakout here. I mean, you had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We talked about that. We had the bullish divergence here. Tons of bullish divergence here. Even as far as the, was it the weekly? Just about here. Let's see. Yeah, we had bullish divergence on the weekly. So very bullish, right? I mean, we were just going down, 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 down. So this thing was bound to turn around, especially the hidden bullish divergence, the fact that it bounced off, you know, this long-term trend line, boom, 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 right? Somewhat of a trend line there. So when we zoom in, look at this. This is where the fun begins. You see what I see? I see, and this is exactly what happened with the rest of the market. Notice how it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it had an ABC, and then what did it do? It took out this low, right? But then it quickly recovered, and then it kind of built a base. So you had a 1, 2, and then we came all the way up here. We built another base, which is a 4, and then bam, we broke out for an extended fifth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a 5-wave impulse off the low, off of XRP versus Bitcoin. This is very bullish. Why? Because if Bitcoin is going to break out in that 5th wave, right? This is exactly how we want to see it here. So let's see. I'm trying to find the right time frame. Okay, so for example, Bitcoin is somewhere like right in here, right on the big time frames. So we had the 1, 2, 3, and then a 4, and then a 5. Now, I did say, I think this is A, and then we had 3. Okay, so we have A, B, and then we have C. So this, we have this move, and this move, right? But yeah, it's very bullish. So we got the 5th wave. So if I put on Bitcoin here, so we want to see Bitcoin break out. So I would imagine that this wave is almost done here. Maybe it gets a little bit higher, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then what are we going to see? We want an ABC, we want it to flag out. We want it to go down now, right? So we had 5 up. Now we want it to go down. So if we're going to go down, what does that mean? That means Bitcoin's probably going to hopefully move up, right? And hopefully move up fast and get that 5th wave here. Because you see this right here? That's what this is right here on the bigger time frame, right? So we want to see this thing fly to the upside. So we're going to, you know, hopefully trickle down here. So let me just put the annotations on. I mean, this is a long, we got a long way to go, right? So let's see, if I do a trend-based fib extension from the bottom of the 2nd to the top of the 4th to the bottom of the 4th, look at that, we hit the 1-to-1 perfectly. Okay, so we could go a little bit higher, but maybe the 1-6-1-8. Now this is 1, 2, 3, probably get 4 and then 5. So I think it has a little bit more up to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be your 7. And then you come down, you get your ABC, maybe back test this level in here, right? You can also see a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder here too. So here's an important line come back down, ABC, flag out a little bit, and then that's when your big wave is going to come on. And look, that's back in October. October, November, December is the most bullish months for crypto. Even, you know, spring. So you have March, April, very bullish, and then you have October, November, December, very bullish, right? So then what you got here, when I zoom out a little bit more, is now you're on your way, because I've always said this is a big drop. We need some kind of retracement up here, right? Somewhere back to this level. It's still severely undervalued. So here's a 1, here's a 2. Let's get a 3 all the way back up here. We flag out for a 4, and then we get a 5, right? And then probably consolidate at the top here, right? So this would be a 1, this would be a 2, and now let's get a big 3, right? And maybe that's towards when we get that XRP ETF and things like that. So I put it back on log scale. There you go. And then it could even go as far as saying even a little bit worse, but this could be a shoulder. We come up for a head, and then we come down for another shoulder, and then we blast off. So ballpark, I know it's not exact, but basically we're getting back up here. So yeah, it's looking good. So let's look at total 3, but let's look at theta first here. So let's zoom in even closer. Let's go to the 10-minute chart. So the reason I'm zooming in this far is because look, what do you see? I think it's actually very bullish. Look at this. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a 5-wave move off the low, and then we have 3 down, and then we come up and 3 up, and then it looks like another 3 down, or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it could be 1, 2, 3. So this is either an ABC or a WXY. So we have a 1, ABC 2, maybe a little bit lower, and then continue higher. So look at that. We have a 5-wave impulse with a 3-wave. This is a flat. You can see the B wave took out the top of the A, right? And now we're going back down. So this is this could potentially be a very bullish setup here. And you can see we're kind of building the base a little bit here. You can see the base right here. We're building one, right? So let me just put the annotations here. So we have 1, 2, 3. That's your W or your A. You have another 1, 2, and let's see. I would say there. And then now you have 1, 2. I mean, this could even be 3, 4, 5, or this could be 4 and then 5 and then go. So yeah, we got 3 down, 3 up, 3 back down, or possibly 5. So theta, I don't know, but it looks bullish. I think it's you know, what else could be though? What if that's not the case and it's only a 3-wave move? Because essentially, right, this could still be, right, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that could be A, and this is a B, right, and then we still need to come up for C like this and then continue down, right? I mean, that could be the case as well. So when we come up here, we need this to go to a 4 and to a 5, otherwise you already know. So but yeah, what else could it be? Well, essentially we want to build some kind of base here, right? Some kind of base, maybe a Wyckoff, right, where we come up, come back down, something like that, where we Wyckoff it out of here. I mean, that would be nice to see. Maybe an inverse head and shoulders, ascending triangle. There's a lot of things that could shape up here, but essentially what we want to see is some kind of bottom in here, right? The reason, when I look back in time and I see this, you know, looking back, it didn't look sustainable because we didn't develop a base, right? If this would have came back down and developed a base for a little bit, right, and then come back up, you would have had a better shot. But, you know, it is what it is, right? Obviously, the big dump we had in crypto, we cannot blame crypto. It was obviously, it was liquidity issues in the stock market which caused people to cover their losses, so they had to sell crypto, right? So anyways, I think, you know, crypto's been beaten up massively, but look, even though it's been beaten up, we're still at support, right? And you can see we're still in this range. We broke out a massive breakout here, right? And then we just have to come down, and we're back testing. So as long as we hold this, I say we're golden, okay? And I want to see it get back up here, and then we can decide up or down. But until then, I mean, my target is going to be $1.90. So just remember that, $1.90, $1.90, $1.90, even to $2. So is it going to take some time? I think so, but you know, again, we got a lot to look forward to. You got to have conviction. You got to know what you hold. You got to be confident. You got to keep your cool, you know, and you got to not panic, right? Especially, you know, when we're pretty, you know, we're below the 50 line, right? We're still haven't gotten to completely oversold on the weekly, but I mean, when you look at the daily, I mean, it's pretty oversold here. So we lost our bullish divergence. Let's see, do we have it on the 2-day? No. Yeah, we basically need some bullish divergence coming in. But if I put a regression trend, let's see, right here, and I'm going to put it from here all the way to the bottom, and then I'm going to take it off log. I mean, you can see we're more so at the bottom here, and what I want to see us do is get back above that red line, the red dotted line. So that'll be the big area here to get through. And now I'll go down to a smaller time frame. So yeah, if we can break back above that, I mean, look at that, we came right up to it, we bumped our heads. That's why, you know, I like regression trends, because they can tell you exactly where the middle is. So if this is a 3-wave move, you know, I want to see it build a base, maybe have a little liquidity grab here, and then continue higher, and back test, hold this area, and then continue higher. That's what I want to see, right? Now, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this can still continue all the way down, as long as, let me put the retracement up and we'll know exactly what the number is. So as long as we stay above 97 cents, I say it's still pretty good, right? So this is a 1, and we can pull back all the way back to $1 between, you know, where we are now, which is a 382, or even the 50, which is $1, or even 99 cents. So somewhere in here, that's where we want to reverse. Okay? If not, then we threaten another low, or even a double bottom. So, all right, let's look at total 3. So total 3, when you look at the small time frame here, we got a 1, 2, and then, I mean, I guess I would say that's 3, that's 4, and that's 5. And then you have an A, you have a 3-wave move to the top, and now it looks like another 3-wave down. So maybe a WXY here, so a flat, right? Flats are everywhere. So down, up, then down. So we have an impulse with a three-wave move. Let's get back down here, a little bit lower here towards this line. And by the way, when I zoom out, if you're wondering what that line is, well, it's basically this big flag here that we've been in. And it's a little subjective. I could put it a little bit closer in, a little bit further out. But I think what's even better is putting a regression trend. I just don't like how they don't work in log scale. Okay, that's fair enough. Actually, let me get rid of this one here. There we go. So now, since I know where my line is, I'll put that one down here. And let me make sure. That way I can see it when I zoom in. So now I'm going to zoom back in. And there's my line. Look at that. Exactly, wow, exactly where that line would be. Okay, so if we get a pullback, right? So if this is a wave 1, and then we pull back for wave 2, and then we want to see that wave 3, or a bigger A, B, C. And then when we get up here, then we have to get a 4 and then a 5. Otherwise, all we have is a 3-wave move. Okay, so if we get something like that, that would be kind of like a diagonal look, and then you get a 3-way pullback. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and now you want to start really ripping it to the upside. Okay, so that would look something like that. You would probably get back to the top of this. Maybe it's a throw over. You come back down for that 4th wave. So 1, 2, 3. This is 4, and then you start getting 5, right? And 5 really breaks you out of here. I'm just, speculating, not financial advice. But what we have here, this is, all of the altcoins is a triple correction here. So WXYXZ. So we really want a sharp impulse out of here, if that's the case. And it should happen fast, right? Kind of like what happened with COVID. I mean, you remember, if I show you on Bitcoin, you guys already know what happened, right? I mean, basically similar to what happened here. So we came up, we had, I think it was a WX, you could say YXZ or XY. Well, either way. But what I really want to say is see how we came down almost 3, 3, 3. Okay, now I know. So we had 1, 2, 3, and then we had 1, 2, 3, right? And then we came down again. So that was a 3-wave move, right? So ABC is done, and now we're going up, and then we go up, we pull back, let's go. But what happened? We just boom, we took out the low. So it looks like a candy cane right here, right? So going back up here, that's exactly what we got. We got a candy cane here going on. So we just bam, right? You had that 3-wave move. It looks like it was going to go, and then bam, you hit the low. So yeah, and then basically what happened though? Well, if I just put a bars pattern here, just to give us an idea of how fast this could be. And granted, this is a lot bigger of a structure. We would have to be going pretty quick. And then we get back up here in October. Yeah, I don't like that at all, but I'm just trying to see from a time perspective here. So anyways, let's go back to total 3. We'll take that off. Any way you look at it, it's got a nice bullish overlapping bull flag here. I mean, it looks primed. I mean, that's a beautiful correction if you ask me. I mean, you got a 1, a 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a 1, 2, 3. And now you're flagging out here for a 4. So I'm imagining this thing's going to break out here. Sometime October, November, December, we're going to get a big breakout. I'm very bullish. I think it's going to take time. I think we probably have a little bit lower to go, right? I think we're going to be ranging in here. But, you know, that lawsuit being over, by the way, let's check on XRP, see what she's doing here. Yeah, see how fast? The problem is how fast it went. Like, if we would have settled here, or, you know, anywhere. I mean, we settled here, so it came right back up. So it's going to be hard, right, to get that momentum going. So I think basically what needs to happen here is we need to consolidate. We need to flag out. If we can flag out like that, 1, 2, 3, and then we just flag out here for 4. Look at this. We have a shoulder. We have a head. Well, let's get another shoulder here. I'll put the line right about there. Let's say we break out. I mean, heck, we could be looking at 81 cents by maybe mid-August if things play out well for Bitcoin as well. So expecting a little bit of a cool-off period. I mean, the news is out. People know about it. And this is like, you know, buy the rumor, sell the news. You know, when was the rumor? Well, that's probably why. Now that we look back, remember how I said, whoa, XRP didn't break the low? Like you saw Bitcoin, THETA, ADA, Matic, ETH, all of them. All of them, total 3, they all broke the low. XRP was the only one that didn't. I thought, that's crazy. Why is that? Well, now we know, right? Because it was already priced in. This move all the way down at 37 cents was priced in. So it's actually, you know, we're up about 60% from the lawsuit, from that low, right? Versus if I go to like ICP, you know, I mean, we were up massive, right? We were up 85%, but now look, we're only up 20%. So, and by the way, ICP also didn't break the low. Why? Because it went up so high that it just got exhausted coming back down. So yeah, I'm just looking at some of these charts here. I want to see a base get built in here, maybe. And maybe this is part of the Wyckoff here. You know what? Let me think about that. So, let me just put this like that. Okay. If we come back up here like this, without taking the high, and then we kind of swoop around here, we can either take the low, something like this. That could be a big Wyckoff structure. Either that or something like this. That could be Wyckoff. So boom, 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 spring or creek, and then go. That would be nice to see. And that would take us again right back to October, that bullish time period where usually the markets are very bullish. And then I would also be an inverse head and shoulders. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I think we need a sharp move to the upside, but I still think, you know, it's going to take a little time. Let's see. And I'm just looking at random coins here. I gotta fix this list. Okay, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. XRP versus ETH. Look at that. We're on a 3-day 9 sell. That's actually pretty bullish. This is XRP versus Ethereum. Man, look at that. You can see what it does, right? It comes down, and then it kind of flags out, and then it hits the low. it comes up, it's probably going to flag out again, and then we can get out of here. And this whole thing is a bottoming process. And what I think this is, now that I think about it, is I think this is the spring of a Wyckoff move. It's just a huge Wyckoff move here. So you can see, right? Ignore all the noise. Just look at the peaks and the lows, right? So here's the peak, here's the low, and then here's another peak, and then here's the liquidity grab, the spring. So what we want to see is we want to see this get back up here, right? Not in a straight line, but over time, right? And let's get up here, pull back a little bit, and then we want to see a consolidate, maybe a triangle, and then break out. That is my prediction. I think that's what's going to play out here, right? And look at this. This is right where the Ethereum ETFs came out, which is at exactly the low here. So that's interesting. So yeah, a lot to look forward to. Very, very bullish. Just going to take time. So, and as far as theta goes, let's look for that three-wave. Let's look for a pullback, and let's continue higher. So real quick, 5-minute chart. Yeah, it looks like it's dumping. It looks like it's got to come down. So if I take a retracement here and I go all the way to the top, I would imagine where would be a good buy. I would say between 52 and 56 cents. Right in there. I think that would be a good buy, or even a little bit, you know, even right around there, right? Or even back testing 51, right? So maybe look for a little bit of a pullback here. This could turn into, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get 5, right? And then we have an A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in C. So A, B, C, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and now let's get 5. So, alright guys, I'm going to let you go before my phone dies. I will catch you guys on the next one. Please hit that like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you guys think. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Congrats, XRP community. It's been 4+ years. I think this is just only the beginning of what's to come. Very, very bullish. Alright guys, take care. Bye.